All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is. What is the date? I don't have my. I'm not. I don't have a computer.
The 26th.
Monday, September 26th, 2022. I am not steering the ship today. Tony's steering the ship. I don't even have my fucking captain's hat. How
You
can
don't. What's going on here?
how can I do the show?
No, that's yeah, no, you got to do what you got to do. Look, sometimes you got to steer the wheel and you weren't prepared for it. You're like an EMS guy. You get called to the scene, you're like, I was asleep, I had shit going on. Look what I have to do now. So, there you go. You're steering the I even though remember, it's like I'm like the co-pilot. I'm Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot.
You're Goose.
I was doing more of an airplane reference of Kareem. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. My dad's you're my hero, but my dad says you don't try until the playoffs. You try
Line.
dragging Walton and Lanier up the court for 40 minutes a night.
By the way, let me just explain to everybody. My computer took a shit on me Friday, so it's been at the repair shop, and I'm not getting back till Wednesday morning. So that's why I'm doing it over the phone. So my apologies to everybody on Patreon. And so I won't even post this until Wednesday on my end because I don't know how to upload it from my phone.
I'll send it to you, but I'll put it up today. So if people are really raring for their fix of Mondays with Mazur, you can go to my Patreon. If you're listening right now, it's probably going to be Monday. Chad, I know how I like to get you going here. We may as well, now that I can share the screen here. I want to share this right quick.
Okay, we got Mary Santora, Fat Bill Squire. Oh, Ramon, he's back.
Yeah, it was over the weekend.
And who's the one in the corner? I can't read that.
That's David Morales, who looks like he's a open micer. I can't tell if he's wearing a flannel shirt or he's trying to be silly and wearing like one of those tweed 1970s sport jackets, like he's on Dick Cavett.
Where's this at? The Lorain County
Lorraine Palace Theater.
Man, he's really going for it, isn't he? Man, if I was the iHeartRadio staff, I would be fucking livid with this guy, just fucking using that signal for his shows.
That's a lot. It's a lot for and it's a lot of bill. Like, one thing about you, Chad, I remember when you were on the radio, pardon the monsoon like wind that's probably in the background, it's probably disrupting everything, but you would do gigs and you would promote them, but it wasn't every week, several times a week. It was, look, if you want to go see me, we're spreading it out. Like, every so often you'll be at a Jimmy John's, you'll be here from, hey, I'm going to be here from noon till 2 at Lube Stop. And if you want to get an oil change and meet the Z-Man, and then you would do a comedy gig, but it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to be here, 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 here. Like, even when we do plugs on this podcast, we're not listing off our entire website of like, I'm going to be in Tampa this weekend and then Tulsa the weekend after, and this. It's like, hey, go to my website, but hey, this weekend I've got this going on. It's a lot.
And the fact that he's pretty much for the past 10 years has just performed in Northeast Ohio, and that's about it. That's like, if you saw Bill, you've already seen him. You've seen him already. There's not one person who has not seen this guy do comedy at this point, and he's not prolific enough to be turning over material. So, I mean, he's just jacking people for money, man. It's sad. It's just like, if I was the iHeart sales staff, I'd be fucking all over this dude. Like, dude, what the fuck? You're using the radio signal for these shows, getting paid. You have to go through us first.
Yeah. It's just a lot. It's a lot of Bill. It's a lot of Mary. It's a lot going on. But that was the 24th, and you think about it, it's kind of one of those read the room type of situations because you're WMMS, you're the supposed rock station in town, and yet, one of the biggest concerts of the year came through town that day, which was 9 Inch Nails, and I'm going to share the screen here just because I can. I like doing this. I'm like giving the visual element.
Dude, you are the captain today. You're steering the ship, man. I don't have the wheel.
So over the weekend, had an opportunity to go see this concert here.
Are these your photos?
No, these are the official 9 Inch Nails photos here.
So what was your takeaway?
Unbelievable show. And one thing we always talk about, because, I got to see Rage this year. You saw Chili Peppers again with John, is that if they're a band you like, go see them. go do it. I mean, I get, like, if you have kids and you need a babysitter, it's going to be tough, but this may very well be the last show Nine Inch Nails ever performed.
Why is that?
I mean, Trent's almost 60, and
he's that old.
Yeah, he's I think he was born in 65, I believe. So he's, he's getting a little long in the tooth, and who knows how long he really wants to keep doing all this, but it was such a great show.
Can you do me a big favor?
Sure.
Can you Google Trent Reznor Quaker Steak and Lube and pull that up?
Yes, I will. I was just going to do that. Come on, you retard.
I know we've talked about it on the show before, but
there it is. New. All right. Yep.
There it is.
Oh wait, no. Do I really want to go with the Mike Polk picture here?
No. Jesus Christ. We've talked about it on the show. If you're a new Patreon subscriber, listener, first of all, thank you. Second of all, there's a restaurant chain called Quaker Steak and Lube. It's more in the Pennsylvania, Ohio area. There's one down here in Clearwater. It's a Brown's Backers bar, actually. And this photo of Trent Reznor eating wings with the Quaker Steak and Lube waitress right there is on every Quaker Steak and Lube bathroom wall. Like, you're going to the bathrooms, and he just looks fucking miserable. He doesn't want to be there. His mystique's up. He's not the guy of darkness. He's just some guy from Pennsylvania eating chicken wings.
Yeah, you have this employee who probably doesn't know who Trent Reznor is, and the bartender or the cook was like, "You know who that is, right? That's Trent Reznor." Who? They're the guy from Nine Inch Nails. I don't know them. Are they like a metal band, or is that a movie cast? No, it's an industrial rock band. You got to go get a picture with him. And yeah, he's sitting there probably waiting for his Louisiana liquors,
his ranch wings, and he doesn't even get up for the photo. He begrudgingly turns to the camera with no smile, like, Jesus Christ.
And this is before this looks like before the days of the selfie. So, it'd be one thing if he's there and he just kind of leans in for a quick photo. This is somebody who actually has a camera, has to get it set, probably took a couple of photos, one of them without the flash, and they're like, "Oh shoot, we need the flash on. I'm sorry, Trent, we just got to get this." How do you work this camera? How is this?
Now, do you think he reluctantly took the photo? Was he just trying to be nice? Did they sabotage him? Did they just...
Here's my feeling on this picture.
Yeah, what's your origin story?
Is that he's probably freshly sober, because he went through, like, I guess, a really bad sobriety period. And probably one of the steps is you got to be nice to people. You've been a dick for so many years. You were an alcoholic, you were a drug addict, you treated people like shit, that you need to be a little bit nicer to people. And who knows, maybe his sponsor's on the other side of the table and says, "Trent, look, we talked about this. You should probably look in terms of like, she just wants a quick photo. It's okay. They're going to put it on the wall. It's no problem." But and I love, it's not the officially licensed Nine Inch Nails logo there. It's somebody who's like, how do you make the N backwards in order for us to post this logo?
This is what I think happened. I think Trent was home for the holidays, met up with some friends. Says, "Hey, let's go grab a bite. Let's go Quaker Steak and Lube." All right, that's cool. Let's get some wings. I haven't had those wings in a long time. And he probably is sober or whatever. And I think they all were whispering, like, "Trent Reznor's here. Trent Reznor's here." And she's like, "I'm going to get a photo with him." So I think they set this up without asking. Like, she just came in. She goes, "Mr. Reznor, can I get a quick photo?" And he just turned around, and that's the photo. Like,
you think it wasn't much of anything? It was that he just begrudgingly did this.
He was in a position not to say, he couldn't say no because the camera was already there. She's standing in position. All he had to do was just turn around, which he did. And they took the photo real quick, and she says, "Thank you very much." And he didn't even say anything. He just went back to eating wings.
Never thought that probably one of his bandmates years later came out and said, you remember that Quaker Steak place we went to where we were just outside? Because that's the thing, is he's from the area where Quaker Steak Lube started, the Sharon, Pennsylvania area. He's from Newcastle.
Every Tuesday, my high school friends, we drive up there for wings.
They would drive across state lines like Kyle Rittenhouse and go over to Quaker Steak and Lube in Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, my high school buddies, the Fat Five, we all went up there for all you can eat wings, and we loved it. It was before the Quaker Steak and Lube expanded, because there was only one at the time. So
No,
We
it
love
was
their
a cool
wings.
place. But yeah, it was such a cool concert because the night before they were at the Rock Hall and they did a Q&A. And since they got inducted in the year of our Lord 2020 and they couldn't have a full-on induction ceremony, they brought the whole band, like everyone who was an alumni of Nine Inch Nails was a part of this, and which included Richard Patrick, the lead singer of Filter. So then the next day, towards the end of the concert, they start playing a lot of their stuff from Pretty Hate Machine, and they played Wish, which won a Grammy, and because he's a Grammy Award winner. It says so at Quaker Steak and Lube. And what was great about it was so Richard Patrick and Trent Reznor had a massive falling out years ago. And so they got back together, and to the point where not only was he playing guitar in these songs, but he also sang Hey Man, Nice Shot, which is the biggest Filter song, which is about Arba Dwyer, another Pennsylvania guy. And it was so cool because you're like, I wasn't expecting them to play a Filter song. And then they ended the set with Head Like a Hole. And it sounds to me that they professionally recorded this. So I'm assuming this concert's probably going to be out somewhere.
Interesting.
DVD, Blu-ray, whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
it was a great show.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat. Is he kind of like would you say like Dave Grohl is with the Foo Fighters? Like he was the original who wrote everything and then he just filled it out with people?
Yeah,
The
kind
band?
of. I think Trent was well, who it was Prince. Prince did that. Prince was the ultimate. I want full control over everything that's going on. So I'm going to play the guitar. I'm going to sing. I'm going to put my own backup vocals. So if you hear backup vocals, it's me singing them. And unless it's Erotic City and all these other things, but I'm going to play the keyboards. I'm going to play the drums. So that's how Trent got. He was heavily influenced by Depeche Mode. He was heavily influenced by Prince, and that's where when he was in the studio, because they said that when he recorded much of Pretty Hate Machine, it was in Cleveland, and he was a janitor at the studio that he was recording in, had his opportunity to do a bunch of stuff, and he said that I can't find the right musicians to get the sound that I want, so I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah, no, Dave Grohl's that first Foo Fighters album was all Dave.
It was all Dave. Yeah, because he was
Yeah.
screwing around in the studio when Kurt was, probably going through withdrawals or through his addictions and stuff. So he's just like, yeah, I'll screw around it. It's like, oh, great. Another drummer who thinks he can sing and play guitar and start a band. But I think it's kind of worked out for him pretty well.
If you get the chance, Google, because they just had they're having another one tomorrow in Los Angeles, but they had a big Taylor Hawkins tribute.
Oh, another one?
But it was pretty cool because he got all these bands back together. Like Rush played. He played with Rush, and they played Rush songs. But Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang Van Halen, Wolfie did Hot for Teacher. It's fucking amazing. He sounds just like his dad. It's unbelievable.
It's so funny how this whole Foo Fighters tribute, everything that's going on right now with Taylor Hawkins, because I think about Foo Fighters because I saw them at outdoor pavilions. It was a good amount of people, but it wasn't a sellout. And then all of a sudden, it just seemed in the last 15 years, they took it upon themselves because they're like, is anyone going to be a rock star? Is anybody going to be a big rock band anymore? Are we just going to have like Vampire Weekend wants to play small little venues? And we dink away at our little keyboards. It's like, no, we're going to actually play some fucking rock music with guitars and drums and bass. And that's what it is. And the Arena Rock show, if you ever gone to a Foo Fighters show, it's like going to see the Scorpions in 1983. He's got or like Bruce Springsteen in the Born to Run tour, where he's got the whole stage and he's running around like crazy. You may not even be that big of a Foo Fighters fan, but you had to go see that show because you never know what's going to happen. It was honestly, it was a lot of fun going to see them. And it seemed like him and Taylor Hawkins had a pretty good friendship because Taylor was a bad heroin addict, a bad drug addict, to the point where Dave left Foo Fighters to join Queens of the Stone Age on their Songs for the Deaf, which is my favorite album.
They got Them Crooked Vultures with John Paul Jones.
Yep.
Which is a great band. Foo Fighters put on a great show. They do a great job. Dave talks a little too much in between. He thinks he's a stand-up comic, but
yeah, he does.
I'm cool with that. Actually, I'm friends with his cousin, who's a stand-up comedian, Tim.
Tim Grohl?
Tim
Taylor
O'Hallen. I think that's Dave Grohl's mom's maiden name is O'Hallen, if I'm saying it right.
Okay.
And his cousin, who his sister is married. His sister and Dave's mom are sisters. So, anyways, long story short, he's a cool. He looks just like Dave. He looks a lot like Dave, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Trying to
I
look
think
it up
it's
here.
yeah. But Dave Grohl's cousin, comedian Tim O'Halloran. I've done some shows with him before. He's actually hooked up Florentine backstage at the Foo Fighters before.
Tim O'Halloran.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is this here? Hang on. Let me share. I'm an amateur at this.
It's not easy steering the ship, dude.
Is this him?
Oh God, no. Not at all.
I
Put
couldn't.
Dave Grohl's cousin comedian in. He tours a lot.
Speaking of, Florentine's going to be on my podcast on Thursday.
There you go.
So, oh well.
I think
I'll look for it on the off chance.
I'm going to try to get him and Don to do the podcast, the football podcast on Wednesday.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Jim's coming to my neck of the woods of the Funny Stop next weekend, and of course, Terrorizing Telemarketers is going to be available, or it is available right now. But yeah, no, it's cool. I've got a bunch of guests and trying to do things on my podcast. Trying to spread it out. I'm trying to get this guy, if I can pull it up again. I'm doing this. I like doing this. I see. I'm steering the ship right now.
I'm talking about, man. It's addictive. I get what Opie loved about it.
You're in control, man.
Opie he was the quarterback, man. He just knew.
I'm trying to get, so there's two guys I'm efforting right now. One of them is Frank Stallone.
I tried to get him during the pandemic because he had a documentary out called Stallone.
Oh yeah, because and they had him on singing. We talked about it with the Sly Stallone at home.
Did you see him?
Yes.
It was so funny.
So I'm efforting this gentleman to come on, Joe Flaherty.
From SCTV.
SCTV and Count Floyd. He's the guy who does the "You suck, you jackass."
Oh, and Happy Gilmore.
Yep, and he's in Freaks and Geeks and a bunch of other productions. But yeah, no, it's man, I mean, what a cast! Seriously.
Yeah,
I always go back to SCTV when I wanted just like a really good laugh and to understand like what true sketch comedy was like, that they didn't have to worry about going up live. They had, tight budgets, but I mean, this cast was incredible. And you don't even have Dave Thomas or Rick Moranis and Catherine O'Hara on here. That's how good they were.
John Candy was in SCTV, was he?
Yeah, that's him right there.
Oh, okay. I can't see. It's very small on my phone.
John Candy was because you think about what like everybody on that cast went on to do something. Like I think you could say like Dave Thomas didn't have the best career after Bob and Doug McKenzie, and Andrea Martin didn't do a whole hell of a lot after that either. But Rick Moranis became an A-lister, and Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy, he's on TV. Him and his stupid son are on TV constantly.
How does Eugene Levy's stupid gay son host Saturday Night Live, but Eugene Levy doesn't? That just goes to show you all the problems with that show.
Well, it's a funny thing you say that. It segues because I can't share it for whatever reason. It's Rolling Stone is apparently blocked on my computer. But I have like some firewall and I don't want to do that on the fly. But Rolling Stone just came out with the top 100 greatest TV shows of all time. Came out today. And do you want to take a guess what their number? You know what? Let's try it here. Let's see where we can go.
Top 10?
The top, because I'll give you the top. Let's start at 100. Is a TV show called What We Do in the Shadows. Never heard of it? Don't care. Number 99 is Oz, which was that prison show on HBO. 98, The Good Fight.
Dude, are you going to go through all these?
No, but I wanted to get to this one. Number 97 is The Odd Couple. You're going to tell me The Odd Couple barely cracks the top 100 of greatest TV. How many times have they done an Odd Couple? It was such a good show that we got to do a black odd couple. We got to do a millennial odd couple. We got to do a woman odd couple. That right there should show you how influential it is. And instead, it's like, well, we're barely cracked the list there.
I really do think Rolling Stone, they do these lists for the outrage. I mean, because look, it works. We're talking about it.
It does. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But let's go to the top 10. I'm curious what their top 10 shows of all time are.
Well, I want to do, let me do 20 because we could do them pretty quick here. Number 20, they have 30 Rock. I've never seen an episode of 30 Rock. Don't really care. Never really interested me. I just knew the people. Here's one thing. The people I always never cared for in my social circles all love 30 Rock. So that told me all I needed to know about it. Number 19 is a show called I May Destroy You, which is on HBO that no one's ever heard of. 18, the aforementioned Saturday Night Live. Where Saturday Night Live they actually ranked in their top 100 cast members, they ranked Norm Macdonald as one of the worst. One of the worst. But Will Ferrell's number 1 and Tina Fey was like number 3. Number 17 is a show called The Leftovers. 100 greatest shows of all time. Number 17, The Leftovers. Number 16, the original Twin Peaks, which, okay. 15, the Larry Sanders Show, which I think belongs. It was a great show for its
great
time.
Show.
14, The Americans.
I remember that.
It was an FX show. I think it was about
no, I don't.
Soviets or whatever. Number 13 is Veep.
Never saw an episode.
Girl Boss. Yep. Number 12, The Twilight Zone. Yeah, okay. I sure, why not? Number 11 is a show called Succession.
Oh, that piece of shit.
So apparently a show that's only been on a couple of years is already one of the greatest shows of all time, according to Rolling Stone. So now we get to the top 10. Number 10, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. I love it. I still watch it to this day. It's still really funny. Number 9, Atlanta.
What? I never even heard of it.
The top 10 greatest shows of all time is a show called Atlanta. After years on Community as white America's favorite black guy, Donald Glover code switched to create and star in Atlanta.
You lost me at Donald Glover. Go.
It's just like, I've never heard of this show. And you're going to tell me, because it's on FX, it's critically acclaimed. Number 8 is Cheers.
All right.
Number 7, Mad Men. Number 6, Seinfeld. Number 5 is a show called Fleabag.
What channel? Who's in it?
It's apparently an Amazon show that was on the BBC.
All right.
From 2016 to 2019, called Fleabag. Number 4, The Wire. Number 3, Breaking Bad. Number 2, The Simpsons. Number 1, Sopranos.
I don't have a problem with the top 4.
No, I don't mind that. In fact, I think they actually did another list a couple of years ago, and it wasn't terrible. If you were to to really look into a lot of these, it wasn't terrible when you look at the top list.
So you're trying to tell me Atlanta's better than Hogan's Heroes?
Atlanta's better than All in the Family and the Jeffersons.
Oh shit! You want to go down that road? The White Shadow?
Well, exactly. All of those shows with the
what about
MTM
MASH?
Enterprises.
Fucking MASH should be in the top 10.
So this was IMDb has theirs, so I could actually share this, so we don't have to just go through all the lists. And they have Veep at 25, as opposed to Veep being one of the greatest shows of all time. Deadwood, okay. Louis, they actually had Louis, so this must have been before his fallout.
Yeah.
The Office, 21. They have Cheers at 20. You move my screen here. Curb, okay.
Where's Sanford and Son?
Let's see, where is Sanford and Son? X-Files, Monty Python, Tonight Show, Sesame Street, South
Where's
Park.
the fucking A-Team? Where's Airwolf?
Yeah, Airwolf should be on there, god damn it.
Should be in the top 10.
Honeymooners are 41. Columbo. Oh, this list has Mary Tyler Moore at 46.
Where's fucking Miami Vice? Starsky and Hutch. This list stinks.
Well, this is the I'm going down the list there. Roots, Beavis and Butthead. So maybe it's a little earlier here.
Where's Artie and Anthony?
where's in Hot? Oh wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to do a Geno free podcast today. for your
Where's
sanity.
Where's the wet spot? How come that's not that's the
Star
greatest show
Trek,
ever.
Twin Peaks, MASH, okay, The West Wing, Larry Sanders, Letterman, sure, why not? Game of Thrones.
What about Welcome Back, Kotter?
Yeah, where's Barney Miller?
Dude,
See,
where's
I don't get The Daily Show, whatever.
where's Little House on the Prairie?
See,
Where's Corky Thatcher? Where's Corky Thatcher? Life goes on.
Like, where's 8 is enough?
What was the one show? It was on Sundays, and they had a robot daughter.
Oh, Small Wonder.
Small Wonder. Yeah, where's that? The fuck, man, this ain't no list.
Mr. Show, at least Mr. Show made the top 100. This show stinks. Girls, that was awful.
Florentine's in an episode of Girls.
I know, but still stinks.
Yeah, I know.
It's trying to be Sex in the City for millennials.
Where's fucking the Highwayman?
So they have the Jeffersons at 82. Yeah, the Highwaymen with Sam Jones. my good pal Sam Jones.
Yeah, you met him. Yeah, this is a terrible list.
Hardy, okay, that show sucked too.
The Hardy Boys.
Yeah. Where's the Bowery Boys?
Who was in the Hardy? Was it like Parker Stevens or something? Find out who the Hardy Boys were.
Hang on.
One of them was married to someone big. Parker Stevens, I think.
Let me see here. Come on.
Boy, what a niche podcast this is.
It's like listening to my podcast with Godfrey.
Except I'm not singing the theme songs.
Wait, they have a new TV show, The Hardy Boys. It's on Hulu.
It's coming out.
Ugh, enough of this.
I'm sure it's like a black guy and an Indian dude.
Oh, by the way, I said this yesterday. Somebody was or over the weekend, somebody posted about Alice. And I'm like, at some point there's going to be a black version of Alice, right? It's going to be the new Alice starring Viola Davis and Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah is Flo.
Well, I found out Tommy was Joe. What's her name? Nancy McKeon from Facts of Life, who played Joe, the motorcycle, broad, who's probably a dyke.
Mm-hmm.
That's her brother. In real
oh,
life.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I've been doing since the last podcast, just doing more research on Alice.
Doing more Alice research. Yeah. More Vic Tayback references. And oh, God. What's funny about it is this is now 3 straight weeks we've talked about Alice on this podcast. But the fact is that we're talking about a show that's been off the air for nearly 40 years, but every one of us watched it growing up.
Because there wasn't a lot of options. You only had a few options, and it was always on. I mean, I grew up, there was a time where, there was probably 5 channels. That was it. That's all you had.
Yeah, when there's only a couple of shows to go after, you got to do what you got to do. Like, you can watch The Ropers. And
there was a reason why, like, Superhost and Big Chuck and Little John were so huge, too, because they didn't compete with the cable. I mean, they did towards the end, but early on, the early days, they didn't. They were, that's why they had such a big audience.
The Ropers. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, those local shows and the local chiller theater and everything. But my God, these shows were just terrible. But it was all you watched. Like, I remember growing up, we used to have, we still do. At the time it was an independent station. It was WOIO, it's channel 19. And during the day, it would just be Facts of Life. I remember watching too many episodes of Charles in Charge.
I couldn't get enough of Nicole Egger back in the day.
Well, yeah, no, of course and by the way, you know what happened with the Ropers, right? That I'm pretty positive that they got screwed on a syndication deal, which is why they almost got forced out of the show by giving them their own show. They knew that couple and that show was not going to last. And I think they got to right before the amount of episodes for proper syndication so they can get syndication money, because you're talking about the late 70s, is that they kicked Audra Lindley and Norman Feld basically off the show by giving them their own show, knowing it's going to fail, knowing nobody's going to watch it. And then they bring in Mr. Furley, and then after a certain point they want to come back to the show. They're like, no, Mr. Furley's actually pretty popular. So, nah, we're not going to have the Ropers return to the show anymore. So they
So
really fucked Norman Fell.
and dude, talk about a great replacement. You know, sometimes when they swap somebody in, it just doesn't work. But Don Knotts stole the show. He killed it.
He really did.
Yeah. Think of some other replacements that just didn't work.
Yeah, like, well, I'll tell you one, not necessarily a replacement, but a show that was just not going to work out was you folks know my obsession with Paul Lynde.
Yeah.
From Hollywood Squares, the Center Square. Yes. Which, by the way, why did all the gays back then sound exactly the same? Him, Charles Nelson Riley, Rip Taylor, they all had that voice. It was like a little bit of vibrato. So Paul Lynde was so popular on Hollywood Squares that they ended up giving him his own show. But nobody believed that Paul Lynde was going to be a husband and a father. Everyone's like, yeah, no, he's a little strange. It's like, yeah, of course he was strange. He was really gay. And no one believed it. No one watched. So he went back to Hollywood Squares and they did a deal with the network. I think it was ABC at the time, where he was a contract player on the Donnie and Marie show. And then they would give him all these like one-off specials and stuff and paid him a lot of money, but he was just never good enough for people to really give a shit about to host his own show.
Did they ever try to spin off Jim J. Bullock from Too Close from Comfort?
Yeah, kind of. I think. Well, no, wait. Didn't they give him a show with Tammy Faye Baker? Like they did a talk show.
I think you're right.
It was like Jim J and Tammy Faye. I could be wrong. I think that was the case, though.
I think it is. I think you're right. And what's up with these gays? They run back to Hollywood Squares, like Jim J. Bullock, Paul Lynde.
Yeah.
Every time these queers shows fail, they run right back to Hollywood Squares.
There's a classic Family Guy outtake where it was what was it, What's My Line or whatever, and one of those shows, and Peter's he goes up to the panel and says Robert Reed, what do you have? He's like, AIDS. It's like, Brett Summers, what about you? Cancer. And what about you, Charles Nelson Riley? He's like, cancer, probably due to AIDS.
Whoa, wait, hold on. I just got I don't know how I feel about this. I just got can you see me?
Yes.
I got a text. Hold on. This is kind of important. I apologize.
A little urgent.
It says
urgent. So urgent.
Evacuation notice. Hillsbury County issued mandatory evacuation order.
Oh, what? I was going to ask you about that. I forgot about it. I mean, I shouldn't forget because it's pouring rain behind me right now. But yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I was watching the Tampa Bay game, which Brady, none of his receivers could catch for him yesterday. And they kept talking about the weather and this possible hurricane that's going to hit Tampa. Well, you're in the path right now, right?
Yeah, I guess. One thing I do like about this hurricane, I have so many people checking up on me so I feel like people care about me. So thanks, hurricane.
You should go on Facebook and do that marked safe from the hurricane.
Oh yeah. So I just got an evacuation. I don't know if it's real or what. I don't know. Everyone's like freaking out, but I honestly think I think the Weather Channel is doing this on purpose. I think it's like COVID. It's just they're making it huge. Cause I went to the grocery store today. All the water's gone. All the toilet paper's gone. I'm like, it's a fucking hurricane. I mean, how bad is it going to be?
Famous last words.
Yeah, I'll probably die.
We'll be doing the podcast, and Chad's sitting on a roof, like doing the podcast. Like, hey guys, welcome to the Rack Me Football Podcast. I've got Don Jameson, Jim Florentine, Ken Mosca, the commissioner, and Tony Mazur. I'm here on top of my roof right now. Black people have looted my apartment already.
Why do they got to be black, Tony?
You got it.
White people loot too. Let's be fair. No, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to think. Everyone's checking up on me though, so that's cool. I appreciate it. Everyone that's concerned about my life. I'm the last one to be concerned. I talked to Gladwell. He's like, he grew up here. He's like, I've been through this. You're fine. So I think it's going to be fine.
So Are you ready for more useless Tony Mazur trivia right now?
That's why people sign up to the Patreon.
So do you remember the Cleveland Indians? Remember they were a team called the Cleveland Indians who they said yesterday, by the way, congratulations to the Guardians for winning their first AL Central title since 2018. I'm like, the Guardians didn't win that title. That was the Cleveland Indians. This is the first Guardians title.
Yeah, that's the first time for the Guardians.
But
Get your history right. Get your history right.
And so in 1993, the Indians had two pitchers on their team that were killed in a boat accident, which was Steve Olin and Tim Cruz. Tim Cruz never actually played for the Indians. He played for the Dodgers.
They put baseballs on his grave.
They did. Yes. It's like putting never mind. Jesus Christ.
Party for two.
So Steve Olin was a sidearm pitcher, and he was the Indians closer at the time. And you think about a lot of repercussions, because if Steve Olin is your closer for the Indians for the foreseeable future, you have no Jose Mesa, which means you probably don't blow Game 7 of the 1997 World Series because you have your side armor who's well on his way to being one of the best closers in baseball.
And including, you probably still have a friendship between Jose Mesa and Omar Vizquel.
Correct.
They'd still be friends.
Well, yeah. So you never know when it comes to the butterfly effect there. So what happened was the reason not really the reason they died, but they were in Winter Haven at the time. So Winter Haven, right down the street from Lakeland, Florida. And they died on Little Lake Nellie on a boat. But they weren't supposed to be in Winter Haven. They were supposed to be in Homestead. And the Indians were having a facility built for them, or it was like either in the process or it was built. And in 1992, they were going to go to Homestead because they used to be at High Corbett Field in Arizona. They were going to go to Homestead. The problem is Hurricane Andrew completely wiped out all of South Florida. I mean, you go anywhere in South Florida, there's monuments, there's everything to Hurricane Andrew and the devastation that happened. And because of that, they had to move to Winter Haven in a temporary facility, which is where they were for about 15 years because they were too cheap to build their own place in Arizona. But I thought that was kind of interesting because if Hurricane Andrew didn't happen, Steve Olin and Tim Cruz might not have been on the team and he would have been on the team. So it wasn't for Hurricane Andrew. Jose Mesa doesn't blow that save in 97.
Hurricanes can be good.
That's right. Sometimes, you know what? You got to kill a couple of 100 or 1,000 in order to save one or two.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about saving games.
But as of right now, for the people that are worried about me, I'm doing well. It's been nothing but great weather as of late, but I will keep you updated. I'm supposed to get my computer back hopefully Wednesday morning so I can do the football podcast and get another sit-down Zumock out there. I won't be releasing this until I get my computer, so go to Tony's Patreon. I don't know why I'm plugging it. The only place you're listening to it is on Tony's Patreon at this point.
That's right. So please retweet it. Bex, please retweet this, and everybody else in the who doesn't hate us already. It's a little insensitive, I gotta say. I mean, you had to change the Indians to the Guardians. It's pretty insensitive that Florida has teams called the Lightning and the Hurricanes. I mean, with the amount of like the deaths and destruction and the problems in families, that it's really insensitive that we're still calling them the Hurricanes and the Lightning right now.
There's somebody out there building this argument right now, and they're being honest.
Out there.
Speaking of,
all you have to do is say that black people are disproportionately affected by hurricanes, and that's how it gets changed.
Aaron Berg and Luis J. Gomez were here this weekend.
Oh, did you get a chance to talk to them?
Yeah, I went down there. I talked to Aaron for a little bit. He fucking doing great. Everything's great. So all that shit you're hearing is not true. He's fine. He's doing well. Tour's going well. They're selling well. They're happy. It's fine.
That's great.
It's so funny. Like I see these comics like Luis J. Gomez. Like I know him, but I don't know him well. But it's so funny how comedians know what's going on with everybody. Like he knew all kinds of shit about me. I go, dude, we barely talk, and you know all this shit. It's kind of strange.
He knew about me, which was strange too.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny how that all works out, and that the comics kind of know each other. There's a lot of gossip that goes on, of course, because you're bored, you're in green rooms, you do other people's podcasts, and you kind of start to get to know people. I mean, for God's sakes, you did a podcast with Alex Stein a couple of years ago. You didn't know who he was. Now look at him.
He's on fire. I guess he's down here. Somebody said he's down here. Someone sent me a message said He went to the Tampa Bay game with Bubba the Love Sponge.
That's strange. Okay.
Yeah, very odd.
Did you have a Bubba? Did you ever any interaction with him?
Never met him. Never did a show. My closest interaction was with Mike Calta. That's as far as it went.
No.
I know Kevin had him on recently and they were shitting on Calta, but he's a scumbag too. Fucking Bubba. Total scumbag.
Yeah, especially during the Hulk Hogan situation.
Yeah, and they're trying to blame Calta and Cox. I mean, you're the fucking guy filming Hogan fuck your wife. You're the problem. There would be no videotape if it wasn't for you. You're the guy who filmed it and labeled it Hulk Hogan sex tape.
Who has a more impressive cock, Hulk Hogan or Hunter Biden?
I never saw Hunter Biden's penis.
I've unfortunately have. I mean, for God's sakes, over the weekend, a story came out that said that he's in Malibu. It's like I think it's like $4,000 a day. And he's got a water slide. He's just nude the whole time with these hookers. And I'm like, now you're making me like Hunter Biden. What the fuck?
That's too funny. Hey, Tony, I had to wrap this up, but I'm getting like phone call after phone call. I got to find out what's going on with this hurricane.
Everyone's doing a wellness check on you.
Yeah, and I'm getting texts like evacuate. I'm like, all right, what the fuck is going on? So I'm getting a little weirded out right now.
All right, Chad, give us your plugs.
Oh, there you go. Well, if I survive the hurricane, I will be in New Serena Beach Friday and Saturday headlining at the Madcap Comedy Room. I already invited my ex-girlfriend. She's not coming, but I will be there. I'm looking forward to it. It's a new room. It's a great room. And honestly, that's the only thing I got in the books for a long time. So come on out. It's right outside Orlando. It's about 40 minutes outside Orlando by Sanford. So get your tickets. Obviously sign up to the Patreon, and I'm sorry for the delay this week with the podcast because I got a shitty computer. So donate.
You should just post like a video or like a photo of the storm outside and just say, hey guys, feel bad for me. Please subscribe. And here's my Venmo information because my house might, and just go on this whole sympathy tour, even if it's not even affecting you.
Yeah. Like a Geno tour.
Yeah. Or a Brett Favre tour.
There it is. All right. For Tony Mazur, I'm Chad Zumock. Tony was the captain today. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next Monday. Mondays with Mazur.